Okay, so Andrew, let me take over the slide deck. I'm sharing my screen. You should see that.
Yeah, we see it.
Great. So welcome everyone joining the regular Datagrok user meeting. Today, we are going to walk you through the progress on the features and updates that we've been working on over the last few months. We've already covered a lot of topics in the past meetings. You can always find them on our YouTube channel. And today, there is a nice list of things we're going to walk through. Andrew will start with the universal search and PowerPack. Dmitry will introduce the UI Kit and walk you through. Diana will show you the tutorials that help learn the platform. Leonid will walk you through the Peptides updates. Aidar will show a bunch of features on the viewers, and Alexander will walk you through the infrastructure updates. So let's start. Andrew, please take the word.
Okay. Great. So I stole your screen. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. In this short presentation, I will demo our new look and feel of the homepage, our welcome screen. And then I also will give an overview of the different widgets that could be put on the welcome screen and our universal search. So as you might have noticed, we've redesigned the way the platform appears initially when you just open it. So now by default, you see a bunch of different widgets and a search input on top. So we tried to structure these widgets in a way, in such a way that the most useful ones would be on top, and they are also customized according to whatever packages a person is using and your personal preferences. So this is all customizable. These six that you see are more or less default, but each package can introduce its own widgets that would appear here. They are quite interactive, so we can click anywhere or open usage analysis, run different applications, and so on. So it's a nice start for the platform. Of course, the things that you would expect from the welcome screen, such as recent projects, recent files, are here as well. What's more important is that it is now combined with the universal search. So this is the flexible system that allows users to search across everything in the platform. So let's see what we can do. First of all, of course, you can search projects this way. Simply type the name of the project, they will appear here. Also, note that different other objects, such as a function, appeared here. It showed up here because the description contained the search term. And actually, as you start searching, we would show you different hits. It could be different users, scripts, functions, and so on. Not only they could be clicked and interacted with, of course, you can also, for instance, run functions right from this search. And for instance, you can type sketch and start sketching a molecule. So again, it's that sort of natural text interface that we now let our users use. In addition to these more or less out-of-the-box capabilities for searches, it can also be extended in different ways. So let's see what happens when we search, for instance, for aspirin, as suggested here. So we came up with some custom information panel for that aspirin, but how did we end up here? To figure it out, let's look at the configuration of the Power Search. At the moment, it's config based. We are working on the nice UI for that, and what it does, you'll see in a second. So it is a way to associate search terms with widgets. And using these tiny config files, it's possible to both intercept the input and react to it. So for instance, this particular template that we see on the screen, it understands chemical IDs. So that's a chemical database. And whenever it encounters it, it would show a template, a widget. We can use any widget here. So this one is just a web widget with the specified captured parameter. In this case, this is a regular expression, so it gets captured by the parentheses and it becomes a variable number 1 because of the first group. And this is how we use it in setting up our widget. So it's an extremely powerful structure that allows regular users or power users to create different templates that are specific to them or to their organization. So let's see what happens when we enter Campbell. Right, so it got matched with a number of templates and all of the different widgets get shown. We can scroll down to see different projections, different representations of what is found here. What's really nice is that it requires no code. It's super simple and could be extended, maintained, and curated by other users. So let's try to enter something different. For instance, I want to introduce a search in Wikipedia. So I have this template already constructed. And we would add a fragment like that, which essentially describes the idea of the template and how the way it intercepts the input. In this case, it's wiki followed by the space and then by something. And we would open a web widget with this specific URL. So I save it right here. And by the way, this is our new feature, editing network files right in the platform in place. The platform already recognized that I changed the config. And let's search for something wiki. Well, by default, it's wiki chair, something. Bam. It's as easy as that. We are still working on the user interface. So ideally, there would be a specialized interface that would let you select regular expressions, then select different widgets and map their properties to the input parameters. But even in this form, it's already useful. Few other things that I did not mention yet about the search. It's also quite powerful, so we can write different expressions. Well, of course, it's not interesting, but what's cool is that it could be bound to different functions that you register in the platform, and doesn't matter which language it's written in, Python, R, they would get invoked seamlessly. What we are also working on currently is mapping the input to parameterized dynamic dashboards. So, for instance, we would be able to enter new users today, and the input would get mapped to either a query or a dashboard, and the parameters would get passed and executed in that dashboard. That's pretty much everything I wanted to tell about our new welcome page. I welcome any questions or comments.
Yeah, this is actually a great feature. Thank you. And one question. Can I, as a package developer, use this one of these widgets in my own package? So not to provide the widget to the welcome page, but grab the widget from the welcome page to my package.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these are regular widgets that could be dynamically found and instantiated and used using our regular JavaScript API. So all of them could be reused from other packages in a matter of two or three lines of code. And of course, for examples, please go to our JavaScript examples. I'm not gonna search for this specific one, but it's here somewhere.
Thanks.
Okay, if there are no more questions, then I'm returning the floor to you.
Thanks, Andrew. I just have one question. I was thinking how easy would it be for a non-developer, but a power user to make it more dynamic? For instance, I want to update a certain plot or just a snapshot of the web page in the widget on a schedule, for instance, every minute, so that I fetch the recent information. Would there be such option? Have you thought about this?
I'm not sure I follow 100%. So you are interested in updating what exactly?
Yeah, for instance, I look at the usage palette here, and I was thinking of the web page that could be in place of that usage widget that can be dynamically updated in some way, so that I have my start page more dynamic, updating over time while I'm sitting at the page, something like that.
Oh, I see. Well, in this case, you can create your own widget. It could be even a subclass or of the web widget, or the web widget could be extended with that property. Yeah, and then it's just a matter of exposing your function in a package and marking it with a special tag so that your custom widget would get picked up by this welcome page. And yeah, we also have examples of that both in the samples and on our GitHub.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now let me switch over to the deck, and the next topic is the user interface kit that Dmitry will present. So Dmitry, please take over.
Hi, my name is Dmitry, and I'm UX and UI designer at Datagrok. Today, I will show how we in Datagrok design the mockups using our Datagrok UI Kit and how to build interface at the Datagrok platform. Let me share my screen. 1 minute, please. Did you see?
Yes.
Oh, great. So, first of all, about our Datagrok UI Kit. We develop it on Figma, and it's possible to duplicate it from Figma website. Just easy to enter on figma.com, type Datagrok. We will find our user, and here is our UI kit. It's possible to duplicate it and use on designing process for building interfaces. So when you open the Figma file, you will see some short message and the link to the documentation. This link will follow to GitHub file with detailed information about how to build the elements and components inside the Datagrok. For example, like we need to build some button. It's enough to use our JS API method UI.button and type the name of button. So turn back to our Figma file. On the left side, we have two other pages, and one page is actually our UI kit with all elements and components which we have in Datagrok. You could see that on the left side that we have a structure of this document, like layouts, contents, is the color palettes, some tables, lists, images, form elements. It's all about controls, inputs, buttons. If we a little bit zoom in, we will see that we have the titles. It's actually also have the links directly to the documentation. And if we will click on element, we also will see the name and the link directly to this information at the documentation. It's very useful when you have some kind of mockup and you have a lot of elements and you're interested in how to build this kind of elements. You could click on this element and see the link for detailed information. So we also have a components, dashboard elements like sidebars, property panels, toolboxes, Docker elements, views, simple view and table view, dialogues, grid, and the set of viewers like filter viewer, scatterplot, histogram. And the page start layouts, it's the page where it's already pre-built a started layout like 2 columns or flexbox, or for example tab controls on like navbars. If we see more detailed, for example, one of this mockup, we will see that we have a container splitter, and inside we have also two other containers which has panels, and we could just easily put inside these containers our elements. For example, we wanted to see on the bottom some grid, so we go to assets menu, find a grid element and put inside the bottom container. Just fill it on each side, and we will easily could create some kind of prototypes. So let's see one simple example of simple mockup. For example, we have a simple view with tab control on the top, and bottom we have info bar with title and description, and simple form which has a couple of inputs and buttons. Let's finish the tab number 2. I already in tab number 2 put a splitter container vertical, and inside the vertical splitter container, I put a horizontal splitter container. So let's put on top on the left. Let's put the scatter plot. We go to the assets menu, select the viewers, select the scatter plot, fill the container. On the right, let's put the histogram. We also put these viewers. And as this is a component, the component has own options like in this case, they have options to select another view. We will select the histogram, and on the bottom we will put the grid. I also fill it, and for example, now we have two mockups. It's simple view with tab bar. On tab number 1, we have a simple form, and on tab number 2, we have some kind of dashboard. So how to build this interface easily on Datagrok, like I will do it right now in Figma. We open the Datagrok, go into the function menu, select scripts, and create new JavaScript file. On the top, we will see that it has snippet menus, for example, for building views, building containers, elements like buttons, inputs, or some icons to put, and components. So let's start with the view. We click on a first menu, select the simple view, and the snippet panel is put the code of simple view. Then, if we turn back to our prototype on Figma, we will see that we have a tab bar on the top. So let's create tab bar. We go to the component and select the tab control. As we could see, it's already added to tabs. Call it tab number 1 and tab number 2. So turn back to the Figma file and open the our panel menu. And we see that we have container panel. Inside the panel, we have an info bar, and we have an inputs container. So let's add it on the same way like in Figma. We have a UI panel here. We just expand it. Let's add it from components, info bar. And let's add it inputs container. Expand the inputs container and turn back to the Figma. We see that we have 4 different inputs like string input, input, date and time, and Boolean checkbox. So let's add these inputs. We go again to the snippet panel, select input, string input, then int input, date input, and bool input. So we easily added 4 inputs to our container. And if we turn back, we will see that inside the input container, we have also one container which is called the buttons container. And when we expanded it, we will see that we have 2 buttons inside. So in the same way, just added the buttons input container, expand this container, and let's add it to buttons inside. 1 big button and 1 regular button. Okay, so tab number 1 is complete. Now let's add it to the view our tab control and see what we have. Yes, we have tab bar control, but it's not expanded to the whole view. So we needed to set the parameter to our view parameter box and set to the true. And right now we will see that this is pixel perfect interface inside the Datagrok, which we have on our Figma file. So for building the tab number 2, we will go into tab number 2 and see what we have inside. And inside, we do not have a panel, we have a splitter. And inside the splitter container, we have another splitter container, horizontal. And on the horizontal splitter container, we have 2 viewers and a grid on the bottom. So in the same way, just edit here a splitter, go to the containers menu, select splitter, vertical splitter. On top, let's add it horizontal splitter. And inside the horizontal splitter, let's add it 2 viewers. One will be scatterplot, and another will be histogram. On the bottom, we will add it the grid. But for seeing these elements, we need to connect the data frame. I will connect the demo data frame. And right now, let's try to see how it looks like. We run the tab number 1 we see before, and let's see on the tab number 2. Yes, we have scatterplot and histogram, but grid is not there. Yes, because I don't call the root element. Let's try again. Yes, and we see that it's completely work, and it looks like on our Figma file. So in this case, I'll showed how to easily we could build some mockups on Figma and have using the snippet panel, it's possible to build the same mockups on Datagrok. Any questions?
Dmitry, thank you for a beautiful presentation. One question, how can users access Figma catalog and Figma mockups?
Go to the figma.com. At the search bar, at the community page, let's just go to the figma.com. Oh, it's already connected to my account. We just go to the by the link Datagrok. We will find the user Datagrok.
Oh, okay, it's open for everyone.
Yeah, it's open for everyone, and when we find the user Datagrok, we will see that we have some file here. It's called Datagrok UI. We could open it and duplicate it to my personal account or business account or for account which you use.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I love how easy it is to just go from designs to the code. By the way, we probably should put that link right on top, right in the designer, so people would know exactly how to get here?
Yeah, of course. The main idea of this Figma UI kit is it's not like to build the elements what we have inside the Datagrok. It's like to use the containers which we have on Datagroks and put inside these containers all elements which we have on Datagrok. In this case, you will on the end you will have the same mockups which is easily will be to build in the Datagrok platform. If in any other cases it will be more difficult, so we hardly recommend to use layout containers which is on UI Kit. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Dima. That's really powerful. Now let me go back to the slide deck. And the next topic is our tutorials that can also be expanded so that it's possible to create new ones on your own. So please, Diana, take a lead.
Hi, everyone. Let me quickly share my screen. It will take just a minute. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. As part of our publicly available open source projects, we are developing a package called Tutorials. And this is a collection of interactive materials to educate users about the platform, to explain some key concepts, and in general to illustrate various facets of functionality that comes out of the box. So this is an application for tutorials deployed to our dev instance. And here we see the track overview. There are currently 4 tracks for exploratory data analysis, for cheminformatics, machine learning, and data access. So each track is comprised of a number of tutorials. And I just quickly comment on the contents of tracks. Some of them are still in progress. So normally each track would contain more than one tutorial. So what is a tutorial? Let's open the first one to see it. It's basically an event-based set of instructions. Some of them, like the first one, come with interactive hints. So the program waits for user to click on the scatterplot icon and proceed to the next step. And other steps may include more detailed information beside the main instruction. For instance, here we see a hint on how we can add set a column to a certain property of scatter plot. It can be done in multiple ways, actually. We can return and read the description here, or just do that. We should go with H and set this. So let's follow just instructions. I promise it's a simple tutorial to complete. For instance, here we see that zoom functionality of the scatter plot is tied by default to the filtering. So when we unzoom, we actually return to all the rows in the data frame like this. And we also can switch quickly to the current record. We can select a number of points, and we can deselect them as the instruction says. When a tutorial is completed, the users have the choice either to proceed to the next tutorial in the track or return to the main view, which we can do, and see that the progress was updated. So this is mainly it. Some tutorials are that simple, like the one that we have finished, and others include more complex logic, for instance, switching between different views or invoking a set of functions in the specified order. And the main purpose for all of this is to really show users how to easily accomplish the tasks that are important to them and how to navigate the platform and just do it really and fairly quickly. That's probably it. Feedback is welcome. We have a GitHub issue tracker for the tutorials package, and also we will take any suggestions on which topics users would like us to cover. So it's easy to add other tutorials and other tracks here as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Diana. One question. Can you please explain if it's easy to make a new tutorial and how can I do that? For example, I want to make a tutorial for my package. Is it possible to do that?
We are currently adding tutorials to the package, so you can contribute to its source code and add a class that will contain the steps for a tutorial of your choice. And they will get automatically, if they are part of some track, included here, or we can add them in a new track.
Oh, very cool. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good question, Alexander. I think it would be cool in the future to have the ability to add tutorials from your custom package as a function
yeah, sure.
to export.
Yeah, we can add that. It's just for now, it's we didn't implement the inter-package interaction.
Yeah, this is nice. We probably can associate packages or applications with different tracks or individual tutorials that we recommend to pass before you start using the application in a somewhat structured manner. Yeah,
and
plenty of
I
possibilities.
I forgot to mention we also have added links to our wiki pages, both for tracks and for tutorials. And for tutorials, it comes in the expanded view, which we saw in the Scatterplot tutorial, for instance. Yes, that's mainly it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Diana. To mention one more thing, we are going to use this functionality for customers tutorials because it's a nice alternative to help in text and pictures where the users can actually go for the functionality for tutorial. So that is soon to come.
Yeah, sure. I think we can work on ways to add custom tutorials and make it as easy as possible for other people. Yes, there will be such an opportunity.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Diana. Let's move forward. And now Leonid will present us the new package called Peptides. Leonid, please take over.
Am I a presenter?
Seems that you are.
So hi, everyone. Datagrok aims to maintain different features for bio and cheminformatics and has a variety of options to process molecules. And today we will speak about peptides. So Datagrok started development tools for processing peptides. But what is so special about these molecules? So from the different point of view, they could be considered as an intermediate case between small molecules and large proteins. And thus we can use different analytical methods to process peptides, methods from proteins and methods that are applied for small molecules. Of course, we should use adequate precautions when using them. But peptides indeed cover the wide area, and such analysis for peptides have wide applicability domain. For example, we can analyze signal peptides, metagenomic data. We can use such analysis in drug design and to create new peptidomimetics. So here we have an application. In any case, we can go to wiki and to repeat all the speech, all the actions in this speech. But actually, you don't need an application as Datagrok detects such as strings with peptide sequences, and it automatically colors such sequences in the manner that different amino acid residuals are colored by different groups. For example, either they are hydrophobic or hydrophilic, and Datagrok also recovers the whole structure of such sequences just by the string. So to perform an analysis, we should choose the column with the peptide sequences, and we will automatically get the composition analysis widely used in for such purposes. To perform the analysis, we should also have an additional column with activity values, as we are going to perform an analysis versus activity to get possible insights of structure activity relationships. In many cases, the activity data should be transformed. So here we have IC50 or half inhibitory concentration, which is commonly transformed with negative logarithm, as many concentrational values. So, and when all these procedures are done, we can launch the analysis. So to facilitate the interpretation of the results, it should be said that the sequences are transformed to a lined table where we can see all the residuals on their positions. Again, another type of compositional analysis is present on the top of this table, and we can manually look through the residuals and their structures in the table. So the spaces in the line sequences are shown just like spaces. So in the analysis table, we can see residuals versus position, and we can choose any of them just to see the point the size of which is corresponds to the difference between the group with this residue on this position versus all other data set. And the color shows the significance of such difference. So one may use the additional analysis and analyze densities. Again, V1 for the residual in the current position versus all other data set, and observe the statistics that correspond to this difference. Of course, there could be more sophisticated tasks. So, and our future plans are connected with the structures of peptides with chemically modified residuals and the analysis of such sequences. So, and it's on its start, or the application is on its start, and some additional types of analysis should be applied and will be developed in the nearest future. So thank you very much. I would be glad to answer questions.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the future plans? What do you think would be worth pursuing?
Well, different types of feature search analysis should be performed, or maybe more quantitative way to estimate structure activity relationships to show and to predict the most potent sequences. But this is the task for one of the tasks of drug design. For phylogenetic tasks, different mutation cliff analysis and stability cliff analysis will be also performed here. Talking about structures, we are also planning to implement the comparison of three-dimensional structures as a daily analysis, just to have an option to observe the parts of peptides that correspond to different activity values again.
Thanks. And I'm not an expert here, but do you think it would be worth connecting it to some publicly available data sets and services for just figuring additional information for particular peptides or similar peptides? Again, I'm not sure how useful that would be.
As I said, such an analysis have a wide applicability domain. So I think that for different tasks, for drug design, for example, or for phylogenetic use in metagenomic data analysis, we can use different examples and demonstration versions for publicly available data sets.
Yeah, I see. Thanks. Yeah, what I meant is something like our Campbell similarity search for small molecules, but yeah, for peptides it's different, of course. Yeah, looks awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Leonid. And it looks very clean and nice.
Yeah, and I know, yeah, we also had Ivan and Vladimir and Alexander working on that. So yeah, thank you too.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the updates on the viewers features. Aida, please take a lead, take a screen.
Can you see it?
Yes, can see it and hear you.
Hi everyone, I'm Aidar. Today I'm going to show you new viewers features we've made in the last 2 months. Let's start with the scatter plot. We've added axis zoom sliders to the scatter plot on each axis separately. Now you can zoom in and out on just one axis and with a defined scope. The sliders appear when you first zoom in on the scatter plot or when you move the mouse while holding down the Option key. You can return to the original scale by double-clicking on an empty area. Or you can also double-click on the individual slider to reset the specific axis. We also added a lasso tool for data selection in the scatter plot. And now you can create not only rectangular-based selections, but also custom shape selections. If you release the mouse anywhere, well, without reaching the starting point, the polygon will automatically close with a straight line to the starting point. And you can also use the L key on the keyboard to switch between rectangle and lasso. Or you can use a corresponding property in the property panel named lasso tool in the MISC section to switch the selection type. We've also added the ability to use multiple marker shapes in the scatter plot. And now you can define markers not only by color or size, but also by shape. And you can set the shape of markers for a column in the property panel too, in markers section. And you can also set the shape size and border thickness for markers. We've also added the ability to split data by marker shape. This functionality works in a similar way to split by color. Here in the property panel, you can select a column to split according to the shape of the markers. And when you split the data by color or by marker, then a legend appears on the scatter plot. If at the same time you make split data by color or by marker, then two legends are displayed separately by color and by marker. The selection of data when hovering with the mouse and filtering also works. If you select the same column for separating by color and by markers, then the legend turns into one, showing both marker and type and color at the same time. We've recently completed the development of lines by equations functionality. This is an example of how different lines and curves can be drawn on a scatter plot. Lines are specified using a special table tag dot shapes. The structure format is the text in JSON format. There can be any number of lines and bands, and each line has a set of parameters that determine its appearance, like title, description, equation, visibility, color, width, and other. And the main parameter is an equation of the form. There should be one column on the left side, and on the right side you can enter any formula using the second column, for example, weight, just like in the add new column form. The line will be displayed only on the scatter plot whose axes correspond to the two columns used in the equation. And with special parameter in the property panel, you can turn off the display of all lines at once. Also, we have implemented a similar functionality for drawing lines and bands on a histogram. This feature allows you to display reference distributions on top of the histogram and clearly see the deviation or compliance of the data. As well as on a scatter plot, you can also draw bands. This is rectangular areas showing whether the data belongs to certain criteria or not. Splines and bands on a histogram are set with a special tag on a required column named charts, and here's its value in JSON format. We also developed a new feature for the line chart, and now you can set markers to key points as on a scatter plot. And also you can display the limits of values for each point on the line chart. To do this, you need to show whiskers as on the box plot with a special parameter in the property panel. And this parameter allows you to select what type of limits you want to show. For example, now we'll see average and min and max. And you can also switch to multi-axis mode to compare different line charts. To compare point by point and by limits at the same time. And also we added a new filter feature. As you probably know, each categorical filter group has a search field of filtered values. You can click the search icon to the right of the filter caption to open it. And if you start typing text in the field, the filter will show you all values that partially contain this text. But if you type in the words separating them by a comma, then filter show you only those values that exactly match the each one. This also allowed you to paste large multi-line text from the clipboard into the search field. In this case, the filter will also display those values that exactly match the each item. And if multi-line text is inserted, the categories are separated by a comma and a line break, as you see in this example. To select or deselect only the found values of the category, click the checkbox to the left on the search field. In this case, values that are not displayed do not change their choice. So we can quickly and flexibly set filters for a large number of values. Well, that's all for me. I would also like to add that we're always open to discuss new features that you would like to see on the platform. Join us in the community, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share your opinions. Thanks for your attention.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. Adar, just one question from me. Back to this custom lines feature on the scatter plot. Yeah, by the way, it's a great feature and looks very, very good. And yeah, that's a great feature. One question, can you set this up? Can I, as a user, set this up with JavaScript? It's planned, or is this mechanism already exists?
Yeah, in the near future, we'll also add the ability to create lines for the scatter plot, not only through tag, but also using a special method of the data frame.
Oh, that's great. So I could use JavaScript API from my package to create line.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
It would be nice to also eventually add the user interface for adding this this sorts of annotations to viewers. So probably not right now, but someday in the future.
Yeah, of course.
What's missing, I think, is also the caption. When you hover over a line, it should probably tell you what sort of line it is.
Yeah, I think I'll do it next week.
Yeah, I mean, no rush here. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really looks beautiful. Thank you for this feature.
Great, Eldar, thank you. So let's move to the last item in our list, infrastructure updates from Alexander. So please, Alexander,
Yeah,
take.
sure. Just a moment. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a very small feature, but it's very useful in some cases. So Datagrok now supports data caching for queries and basically for every function. So as you know, everything in Datagrok is a function, and you can write a script that gets the data, transforms it somehow, and returns a resulting table. And now this resulting table can be cached in server, and I will show you how it works. So let's get a data query for as an example. This is a simple data query actually, so it's just makes a very simple select from the one of our demo database. And this is a connection to this database, and this is a query. So to enable caching, there are multiple ways to enable caching. So first of them is to turn. Yeah, someone, I hear echo, sorry. If you turn on this cache results checkbox, Datagrok will automatically cache all the data for all the queries that use this connection. So that means that if I execute the query, Datagrok will remember the result and get the result from the cache. So if I execute it, I will get the result from the cache, but not from the database. There is a feature that Datagrok actually remembers the parameters. Datagrok remembers all the connection parameters. So if I change something here, or if I execute this data query with another parameter, or if I change the data query text, the cache will be invalidated automatically, so you don't have to care about that. And here is the I have something strange with my left button. Here is the invalidate on parameter. You can specify here a shadow in the cron format. That's a Linux format. You can find a link and description inside our documentation, but it's actually a well-known format for all the planning or all the time features. It means that this here, actually one extra asterisk, that means that cache invalidation will happen on 0 minutes of every hour. So basically, Datagrok will invalidate the cache on every hour. You can pick anytime you want, so it's actually a very flexible thing. There are a lot of cron shadow constructors over the internet, so we decided not to write another one, but I will describe it later. So there is something special later. Okay, so that means that the cache for this connection will be erased on every first minute of the hour. So basically every hour. Okay, let's get rid of that. And cache settings could be specified directly on functions, so on data query in our case. I can turn on the cache here. I can invalidate cache every minute, or I don't know, maybe every day, or every Sunday. I highly recommend to get some kind of cron string editor. It's very powerful thing. And one more thing, there is one more point here. I can specify a shadow for this function executing. It could be used here as a cache warm up. So if I specify that cache invalidates every hour on the 0 minute, I can specify that this query will be automatically executed on every first minute. So cache will be automatically renewed every hour. What we are planning to do, that's not related directly to the cache, but we plan to make a user interface for editing this function annotation. So as I think you already know, as I guess you all are familiar with Datagrok, this is a very powerful thing that allows to annotate scripts, function, package scripts, package functions, sorry, and allow Datagrok to understand what happens in the function. So, for example, I can put here, I don't know, I can turn on cache on this script, and it will remember input parameters, and if they match with a cached output, it will return a parameter from the cache. So, as I said, it's a small feature but very useful. And if you have questions, please ask me.
Yeah, that's indeed a super useful feature. Can we also cache it on the client side so that we...
Not right now, not at the moment, but all the code is written in such way that it will be easily added in a while. So that's one of our plan is to implement client-side caching.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's designed in a way that client-side caching could be done easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be extremely useful for multiple cases that I can think about. Next question, how about other entities such as files and whatnot?
Actually, there is a possibility to cache file contents and even color value, but now this cache works only for table outputs. That's because it was actually designed for data queries, because usually a database is the most slowly part in the chain. But yeah, there is no particular problem to cache whatever you want. So I think it's our, I don't know, second priority after the client-side cache.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
I could just add to this that there is a way to do more sophisticated cache validation, because this cron shadow you can attach to pretty much any function, and in that function you can provide for more specific strategy for cache validation. This is useful for queries where you have dependencies of one query on the other, for instance?
Yeah, we can do much more sophisticated things than you're completely right. So this cache can be attached to Grok scripting. Grok scripting is the internal scripting language for Datagrok. So each step can be executed as a script. And you can put it to the script and make a shadow and plan it and cache it. So do actually whatever you want. Any more questions? Okay, thank you for your attention, and then I'm transferring. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Alexander. So that's about it. We covered quite a bunch of topics today. Thank you for listening. If there are any other questions related to these topics or others, please reach us out on our community forum. Let us know if there are any questions right now. Okay, so that's it then. Thank you for coming to the user meeting. See you in a few months at the next update. And have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.